Hey, hello, beautiful people. Candace Gray, the Courage Coach here. So listen, hang tight with me. I'm going to go ahead and share this out, especially to those of you who are on the replay. Let me just make sure that I'm on my page. I'm going to share this out, and then we're going to hop right into it. How are you? Okay, so we're good. We're live. All right, let's share. Okay, I'm not sure this. Let's see. Join now. We are live. Hey. Share this out. I want to be sure that I'm getting this word to the masses. This is for every woman of faith, every aspiring entrepreneur, every ambitious professional woman. I need you to hear this. You need to hear this. So if you're here with me, share this video out. It doesn't matter if you're here with me live. It doesn't matter if you're here with me on the replay. Please share this out. Okay, I think let's see. Let's check and then we'll get started as people start trickling in. Okay, so we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get this music off because I'm ready to go. Y'all, I'll be here all day listening to this music, but it can be distracting. This is not a party, Candace. All right, let me turn this music off. Okay, welcome, loves. Welcome, my loves. Candace Gray, the Courage Coach, helping women of faith and entrepreneurs conquer their fears and feelings of unworthiness so they can walk boldly, confidently, and courageous in their purpose, doing the very things that God has called them to do, boldly and unapologetically. So for those of you who don't know who I am, Candace Gray, the Courage Coach, I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Welcome to Becoming Her. Becoming Her. Hey, Tanika. Becoming Her is this new series that I just kicked off last week. And it's really about finding the courage to become the woman that God is calling you to be. I find that so many women have these dreams, we have these goals and these aspirations, and God is really calling us to huge purposes to really make a mark and a difference in the world, but we don't act on it, and we're not obedient because of fear. You know, we're afraid of rejection, we're afraid of failure, we're afraid of what other people may say or what other people may think, and we're not walking in obedience. And because of this, we're living this limited life that we don't love. We don't love our jobs. You know, we have broken relationships, and we're struggling in our families to have harmony in our families. Internally, maybe we're struggling with depression. Maybe we're struggling with anxiety. Maybe we have anger, resentment, unforgiveness. And so it's really about, Becoming Her is really about understanding that this is a journey and that this is a process that we move through to become great. When we look at these other women who are in ministry, these other women who are in business, and they're doing amazing things, and you know, maybe we even have them on this pedestal, they didn't become great overnight. It didn't happen overnight. It was a process that they had to go through, and there was a journey that they were on to get to where they are today. And so I want you to understand that every single day is a part of your journey, and it's not about the destination, but it's about God shifting you and changing you and transforming you and growing you on this journey, and you being able to see the beauty that you're forming into. So today we're going to be talking about how to have faith in the process to your vision. So a few things before we hop right into it. The Vision Board Party, Becoming Her Vision Board Party, will be held here in Cincinnati, Ohio on January the 13th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And so feel free to check out the link that is right above this video, bit.do/becomingher. Becoming Her Mastermind starts January 28th. It's a 4-month mastermind for professional women, aspiring and current entrepreneurs, and women of faith. And I'll tell you a bit more about that after we talk about having faith in the process to your vision. So if you're here with me, share this out. Share this video out, whether you're on the replay or whether you're here with me live. Share this video out. And so I really wanted to just really talk about briefly how to have faith in the process to your vision. I feel like so many of us have lost the faith because we felt like the process has been never ending. Like it's been like a gajillion years and you're like, I'm still not there. Wherever there is to you, no matter what there looks like to you, we're just like, oh my God. But we have to understand that there's a journey and there's a process. And so there's a couple of things that I really wanted to impress upon your heart today to understand while you're on this journey. And it's going to help you move through this process a bit more efficiently and a bit more gracefully. And so number one is overnight success is an illusion. It's an illusion. It ain't real. It ain't real. We look at these people and we're like, oh my gosh, they seem to have like this overnight success. But it's an illusion. The reality of it is that there is a process that other people don't consider. You know, especially when we're on social media. When we're on social media, we're looking at everyone's highlight reel. Hey, Janetta, how are you? We're looking at the highlight reel. We're looking at the things that they post. You know, at the end of the day, we post on social media what we want other people to see. This is what I want you to see of my life. This is the perception that I want to give you. I want to box my life up so that it's really, really pretty and glittery, and this is what I want you to believe. But we're not posting on social media those days when we're like, I'm so over this, I'm done. And when we're bawling our eyes out at night because we don't know what's next. And we feel like we failed over and over and over again. We don't see that stuff. And so because when we think about this overnight success, when we're talking about, you know, social media and we're following these people and we're looking at their highlight reel, we then begin to judge our lives based on someone else's blessings and someone else's life. Hey, Sophia, how are you, love? And so I really want to caution you to be careful of that, because at the end of the day, you don't know what they went through to get to where they are. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, it could be just a simple perception that you see of them that may not even be true. People come on social media trying to be someone maybe that they're not. In real life, their life is falling apart. But to you, oh my gosh, they have it all. And so you got to be real, real careful about looking at other people's highlight reel and, you know, really buying into this whole overnight success thing. You cannot miss the fact that it's a process and that it's a journey. And when we can understand that it's a process and when we can understand that things happen in time, then we can begin to look at ourselves and understand that I have my own process. I have my own journey. And I want to encourage you to really acknowledge the process every single day, okay? None of us are overnight successes. I don't care who you're talking about, who you're looking at. I don't care if, you know, you got these coaches online like, oh yeah, I made my first million in my first year and my first $100,000 in my first 10 days. Great. Maybe they did. But have you considered what they did prior to then? Have you considered their track record? Have you considered if they were in corporate America, making millions of dollars in corporate America for companies before they went into entrepreneurship? These are things that we have to consider. When we're talking about people who are building ministries, you have so many people out here who are building ministries, yet their lives are not congruent with what they're preaching. We have got to be sure that we're operating in integrity. No, you're not going to see every single step of my life, of my journey. You're not. But it's when do we say, let me keep it 100 with you and tell you every single day is not peaches and cream, and tell you I took a month and a half or something like that off. That's so I could figure out what I was going to do with my life. When do we come on social media and be real and let you know that this is a process, and that out of 100 days, 75 of them days, I was like, I'm done, I'm over, I want to quit? When are we going to keep it 100 and tell people that you have got to develop your gift? You have got to develop your life in this process of becoming her. You're not going to become her overnight, but I want you to pay attention to every single success that you move through every single day. Even the little ones, even the ones that you deem like tiny successes, the tiny ones that you're like, yes, in the moment, yes. This is where that growth comes in at. So I don't want you to be deceived about this whole overnight success. Don't believe the hype. It's not true. There's a process and there's a journey that people are not telling you. And I don't want to become one of those people. That's really why I'm doing this Becoming Her series and the vision board party and the mastermind, is because I want to be transparent with you that I'm on my journey right now of becoming the woman that God is calling me to be. And every day is not gorgeous. It's just not. But I promise you, on those gorgeous days, it's like, oh my gosh, who am I? And I had a couple of gorgeous days this past weekend where I sat back after the weekend, was like, what just happened to my life? So, and that's the kind of reaction I want you to have to yourself when you're going through this process of becoming her, the woman that God is calling you to be. When you can step out on faith and really overcome those fears, I want you to have that sense of accomplishment, like, oh my gosh, I did that. Like, did I really just do that? Yeah, you did, boo. Yeah, you did. Acknowledge it. Give yourself credit. That is growth. Because if it's something that you're doing now that you weren't doing last month or last year, then that's growth. So number one is overnight success is an illusion. Okay? Not real. So number two is write the vision and make it plain. When we're on our journey, we have to know where we're going. When we're talking about the word journey, period, journey implies that there's a point A and a point B. That means where you are right now, and then there's a destination, right? Your destination is your vision. So you have to know who you want to become. And it's very important for you to see her, see who it is that you want to become. And so what that looks like is really taking an opportunity to, write it down. You can write it down. You can talk it out. It's on you how you want to do it. But you've got to be able to say, who do I want to be? Where do I see myself in a year? Where do I see myself in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Even down to the details. I'm sorry about the background noise. Next week, 7 o'clock, okay? Even down to the details of, and I tell my clients this, where do you see yourself living this time next year or the year after in 5 years? What does your home look like? What are you driving? And it's not just about material things. But when we're walking in the purposes of God, material things are going to come, okay? We've got to be sure that we're walking in our purpose, but material things are going to come. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are there friends that you're connected to right now that in a year you don't see yourself connected to? There's some of you who are connected to women right now or connected to men right now that have no business in your life. And you know that, but you have not taken the opportunity to distance yourself and separate yourself. Who are you connected to next year? Who are the women that are really powerhouses in business, powerhouses in ministry, who are making it happen? These are the people that we want to be connected to because they're going to call us to another level of living. Hey, Whitney, how are you, love? I want to be connected to what I call my circle of intimidation, where I'm looking at you because I'm like, they like really doing something. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't discount the fact that they had their own process. But I know one thing, if I'm connected to you, you're going to call me to another level of operating, right? I can't be connected to you on some BS. That's not going to happen because that's not what you're about. And that's the type of circle that I want to be surrounded by. And so we've got to be able to see ourselves, who we're connected to. We've got to see where we are. Are you traveling? Are you in business? Are you in ministry? What are you doing with your life? Are you still struggling with anger? What are the things that you're struggling with today that you don't see yourself struggling with next year? Are you still struggling with unforgiveness? Are you still reeling from past traumatic things that have happened to you? At what point do we say, no more? I've got to move forward and I can no longer have this attached to me going into this next season. We're going into 2018, and 2018 is a year that God has already told me is going to be about celebration and rest. Celebration and rest. Celebrating the things that we have accomplished, the things that we have done, celebrating where God is going to take us. And then resting from all the hurt and the pain and things that we have been toiling with day in and day out. It's time to rest. God wants to give you a breath of fresh air. He wants to give you a new wind. But you've got to say yes to yourself walking into this new season. 2018. 8 is the number of new beginnings. And I promise you, God is going to do something so spectacular, y'all. Because what he's showing me, I'm like, yeah, God. Once again, I'm not discounting the process that I have to go through. Okay? So you got to write the vision and make it plain and really see who she is, who you want to become. Write it down. Draw it out. Make it real to yourself. And if you don't know, this is where you get to create her. Create her. But I know one thing at the end of the day, come January, you cannot still be in the same place that you are today. Today, September 19th, you cannot be in the same place. I feel like this. I feel like growth is a daily thing. Who I was on Saturday is not who I am today. Number one, the events of what happened to me on Saturday transformed my life overnight, baby. I am not today who I was Saturday. Every day, you should strive for growth. Strive to think differently. Strive to do differently. Strive to see differently. And it takes effort and it takes time. But this is what the journey is about. This is what the journey is about. Hey, Kimberly, how are you, beautiful? So number one, overnight success is an illusion. Don't believe the hype. Don't let nobody tell you that everything just happened overnight, because it didn't. Trust and believe. All these little rappers out there rapping about their cars and their bags that they got and all their money. Come on, half of them broke, right? Number two, write the vision and make it plain. Who are you now versus who do you want to become? See her. You will never see her. You will never be her if you can't see her. And so number three is have the faith to move. This is the biggest deal. I feel like we can conjure up in our imagination all day this gorgeous woman, this great woman, and she's doing all these amazing things, and she's so wholesome, and she's so great, and she's so perfect. But the disconnect comes in when it's time to start doing. You got to start doing. In the process of becoming her, we're not just working internally. Yes, that's the first part. We have to start internally. We have to start with the spiritual shift. We have to start with the mindset shift. But once we get that internal process together, baby, you got to pick your feet up. You got to pick your feet up and you got to start doing. You have to start walking it out. You got to start being her. And it's terrifying. I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. I'm walking through my own process. But you have to have the faith to move your feet. You've got to be able to say yes to do the scary things that God is calling you to do. And, and I will say this. It's going to be uncomfortable, but God is not going to call you to something that he's not going to prepare you for. He's going to prepare you for it, and the preparation is the process. There's a reason why, some of us who have been in business and we've been grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding, and we're not really seeing the results that we want or the results that we had hoped by now. It's a reason why. It's because this is part of the process. And God is really trying to build up our muscles. When we go to the gym and we think about, weight loss or gaining muscle, I don't know who goes to the gym and gets skinny overnight. Please let me know what gym you're going to if they can get you skinny overnight, because I need to be there. But when you think about the process of strength and being strengthened and lifting weights, we lift this heavy stuff, right? It's heavy. It's heavy and it's a repetitive motion, and we're consistently lifting and lifting and lifting. And there's going to become a time where we feel like we're getting weak and we're shaking and we're shaking. But this is the moment that our muscles are being tested. When we're shaking, we're still trying, but we're shaking, and we're still trying, but we're shaking. This is when our muscles are being strengthened. And so you have to understand this is the process. But not only do you have to do it one time, as you're shaking, tomorrow you got to go back to the gym and do it again, even when you're sore. And then the next day, you got to go back to the gym and do it again. This is the growth process. This is the strengthening process. This is why some of us are not where we hope we'd be, because we are putting the weights down because it's becoming too heavy, because we're not trusting God to be our strength in our moments of weakness. You have got to move your feet. It's not going to be comfortable. But if you continuously do it day in and day out, when you look back, you're like, bow, bow, bow. You're going to be killing them weights, right? And when you have that strength, how much more can you defend yourself? So I want you to understand that you have to move, but you have to embrace the process. You have to embrace the journey. You've got to trust that God is preparing you for the very thing that he wants to give you. There were so many times that I was like, I thought I was doing something, y'all, especially when I first started on this entrepreneurial journey. I thought I was doing something. And I remember, like, God, why didn't nobody like sign up for my program? And, you know, I was kind of like butthurt. And then God had to show me, Candace, if you would have had what you expected to have, you wouldn't have been ready. There were some things missing. There's some things that you didn't have in place, and you wouldn't have been ready for the influx at that time. And it was so crazy because I was like, you're right. And that's the thing about it. We want to be sure that we're in position to receive the outpouring of blessings that God is going to bestow upon us. But we also want to be sure that we are in position to be able to handle it. You know, you want to be sure that the container, our hearts, our souls, that we can actually handle the blessings. Because if we can't, it's going to start seeping through the cracks and seeping through the holes because we haven't mended those. So you want to be sure that you're in position and that you're doing what it takes to become her, that you're moving through the scary processes, that you're trusting God. You're trusting God. God will never leave you or forsake you. He said that he's already gone before you to make the crooked path straight. If he's already in tomorrow, why are we tripping? We're hearing today God's in tomorrow already moving some things around, fixing it, and we over here having panic attacks. No, where's your faith? When are you going to start trusting God to move you into where he wants you to be? He's calling you to bigger and greater, and we're wondering why our lives are so mediocre, and so we're so unhappy because we haven't been doing what we're supposed to do. For some of y'all, God has told you to write a book a long time ago, and you still ain't wrote your book. You ain't started on a manuscript. You ain't even had a thought because you're terrified of the process of writing a book. You're terrified of what people are going to say about you, of what they're going to think. You're terrified of what your family is going to see and read. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. We become overcomers. It's time for you to start walking in your strength. It's time for you to start walking in courage and walking in confidence, trusting that God has already gone before you. God is calling you to him. He's going to prepare you. And so I want to leave you with a quick action plan, actually, that's really going to help you get clear on where you are right now and where you want to be. And so that helps you walk through the process of point A to point B. So I want you to create a timeline that spans 10 years, okay? So this is not like a mental exercise. No, this is like get your pen and get your paper and write it out. Create a timeline that spans 10 years. So you want to go back 5 years in the past, and then you want to go forward 5 years in the future, okay? And so I want you to really think about, and I'm holding this because it's loud. I want you to really think about what growth have you seen in your life in the last 5 years? Like really think about physically the growth that you've experienced, emotionally, spiritually, your family, financially. Really cover every area of your life and think about where has God brought you in the last 5 years, okay? And so I want you to understand how much more God will prepare you and provide for you in the next 5 years coming up. If you've seen this much growth the past 5 years, you can expect even more growth in the next 5 years. But the reason I'm having you do this timeline spanning a 10-year frame is because I want you to understand that this is a process. And when we can put it like that visually in front of us, we look at everyone else's life, but we don't consider their whole 10 years. All of a sudden, we just see them in some limelight and they're doing great, amazing things, but we didn't consider the 10-year process. So I really want you to be able to look at your life and see where God's brought you from, where he's taking you, and really pray about, God, where are you taking me from here? You've prepared me up until now, but what are you preparing me for? And this is where that vision comes into play. You've got to have that vision. But you've got to understand it's a journey on the way to that vision, okay? So let's go back. I saw that I froze on the screen. I hope I'm not like freezing a lot on the replay. Sorry. Let's go back. And number one, overnight success is an illusion. It ain't real. You have to understand that greatness takes time. Greatness takes time. And the thing is we're asking for so much, and God is like, I'm trying to prepare you for it. I can't give it to you if you're not ready. He's not going to just throw us to the wolves and throw us in the ring if we're not ready. Boxers train before they get in the ring. They don't just get in the ring after one practice and think they're going to win. No, you don't get a belt after one practice. Number 2 was write the vision and make it plain. You've got to be clear on who you want to be, and you've got to be clear on what she looks like in totality. You've got to understand the things that you don't want to take into this next year, and you've got to understand the things that you want to add to yourself in this next year. And then lastly, having the faith to move. You've got to be able to do the scary things. This can't just be about internal transformation and you don't walk it out. So create your timeline that spans 10 years, 5 years in the past, 5 years in the future. Think about the growth that you notice over the course of the last 5 years, but also think about what God is preparing you for as you move into the next 5 years, okay? So I'm really, this is really important for you to get. So if you're still here with me, please share this out. Share this video out, because this is very important for women to get, because there's too many women stagnant and stuck. They have big, huge dreams and huge callings and huge purpose, but you're stuck. So please share this out. Thank you, Anjanetta. So I want to remind you, the Becoming Her Vision Board Party is January 13th from 12 to 3, and it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. You can go ahead and register. Early bird is $45. You can register at bit.do/becomingher. The Becoming Her Mastermind starts January 28th, and this is a 4-month mastermind, only for 10 women. And when I say 10 women, I want this to be an intimate environment for women who are really ready to transform in 2018. They're like, you know what, 2017 was not all I thought it was supposed to be, and I refuse to let 2018 end up the way 2017 is ending up. The mastermind, January 28th, is 4 months. And let me just tell you quickly what this mastermind is going to look like, okay? So in this mastermind, we're going to be meeting monthly as a group, but we're also going to be having one-on-one sessions in between there, because I really want it to be catered specifically to you in your process and your journey, so that you know how to move through the process, all right? And then in addition, because it's a community setting, we're going to be having kind of like group accountability calls over Zoom. I want us to be able to look each other in the eyes, well, virtually, and see each other, so that we can really encourage and pray for one another as we all go through this process of really transforming into who God is calling us to be. And so we're going to have a spiritual relationship with God, where we're talking about intimacy, honesty, and hearing the voice of God. And then we're moving into trust and faith in God and his processes. And then grace and forgiveness for yourself and others. And it's purposeful that I'm starting off with a spiritual relationship with God, because if your relationship with God is not strong, everything else is going to fall apart. That's the foundation. So we have got to be in alignment with what God is calling us to do, and we've got to be clear on that. You know, we've got to really eliminate some things that have been holding us back and really keeping us in bondage. We've got to understand that God's grace is sufficient for us. Every single day, no matter what we go through, God's grace is there to keep us. We've got to be able to walk in forgiveness and release the weight of sin, release the weight of pain, release the weight of things that have happened to us at the hands of someone else or even at ourselves. And so then we're going to move into the mental and emotional, where we're going to be conquering negative thoughts and limiting beliefs, managing emotions, and then recognizing self-sabotaging behaviors. Think, feel, do. They all have to be in alignment, okay? Because our actions are a direct reflection of the way we think and the way that we feel. And people recognize that. And so we want to make sure that we have everything in alignment. We want to make sure that we're able to cast negative thoughts down when they start coming. We want to be sure that we have the tools necessary to fight the enemy when he comes for us the moment we decide to do bigger and better things. Because trust and believe he's going to come for you, because you're a threat, okay? And I want to make you an even bigger threat to his kingdom. Then we're going to move into family and personal relationships. And so once we've talked about, the spiritual relationship with God, we're talking about our foundation, right? And then we're going to move into the internal, our thoughts and our feelings and who we are internally. Now we're moving into our family and personal relationships, moving into our household, our home, the people that are closest to us. And so here, we're really going to be solidifying our core circle. Who is God calling you to release out of your life? Who do you need to cut off because they're not going to be able to come with you in this next season? Who do you need to connect to? Because maybe there's an opportunity you have for them or they have for you. Maybe there's a relationship that you can build that will really carry both of you to the next level. And we're talking about increasing intimacy, spontaneity, and communication. How can you spice up your life? How can your life just not be boring? How can you use travel experiences, interactive games, and having fun to really increase the connection that you have with the people that you love? You know, one thing I will say, when we're having fun and when we're laughing, guess what we're not doing? We're not stressing out because we're enjoying our lives. And so that's one thing that I really like to specialize in, especially as a past marriage and family therapist. For me, that play therapy did something to me. I was like, man, I'm supposed to be, therapizing you, and I'm getting something out of this. So I really want to teach these principles and really show you how to shift your life, your family life, by just having fun and being silly and quit worrying about what everybody think. And then we're moving into restoring broken relationships. It's so many women out here who haven't spoken to people that they love in so long because of something that happened, and there's no closure. And so it's really about, who is God calling me to restore the relationship with? That's going to be a process in itself. And you're going to hear me tell my story of me restoring the relationship with my father. I'm in the process of doing that as we speak, restoring the relationship with him. So I'll be telling you a bit more about that and kind of where we're at, okay? And then lastly, we'll move into the business and entrepreneurship. And talking about clarifying your passions and purpose. If you know what your passions are, awesome. How can you move forward on what God is calling you to do and really align yourself in that purpose? If you don't, I'm going to be showing you how to really clarify what your passions are, the things that you love, the things that you're good at, the gifts that God has given you. How can you create a life surrounding those things? That's what God is calling us to do. And then getting out of your comfort zone to embrace opportunities. Get out of your comfort zone. There's going to be challenges, and I'm going to challenge you to do things that you have never done before. Because I promise you, at the end of the day, when you're done with it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, did I just do that? How proud of yourself are you going to be when you've done the things that you've been scared to do? And when you realize, like, it held so much power over you all these years. But all it took was for you to say yes to yourself, to walk in freedom, okay? And then lastly, persistence, consistency, and accountability. How do we move through this process of becoming the woman God is calling us to be when the enemy is after us every single day? There's going to be moments that you're going to want to quit, moments that you're going to want to give up, moments that you're resisting what God is trying to call you to do. How do you maintain consistency in those moments when your emotions are all over the place and you don't want to do it anymore? How can you connect to other women who will really uplift you and support you and pray for you in those moments? The journey is not going to be peaches and cream, and I want you to understand that, but I also want you to understand that God's grace is sufficient for you. So no matter what you encounter, the journey is going to be beautiful. You find a lesson, you find the gift. If things don't happen the way you want them to happen, what was the lesson? What was the gift? Understand that all of our experiences are not always for us. Sometimes they're for someone else. And that's when we have to understand that we can no longer be selfish because we are uncomfortable or we're in pain or we're hurting. How can we minister to others in our pain? That's what I want to ask you today. And that's the true test of your character. When you can say yes to yourself in the moments that you're not feeling it. And so this is what the Becoming Her journey looks like. Really understanding the realities of the process of the journey, but really being excited and moving forward in expectation for what God is going to do in 2018. So I want you to go ahead and go to bit.do/becomingher to find out more about the vision board party, about the series, more about the mastermind. Oh, yeah. And so starting next week, the Becoming Her series is going to go Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Okay? I'm going to go up 30 minutes, and I'm adding an extra day. Here's the reason why. This is me walking in my obedience. God is telling me that I need to do kind of like a low-key Bible study. All right? So on Thursdays, I'm really going to be talking about what God has been showing me as I move through my own Bible study, a topical Bible study from the stories of the Bible and how God moved in that time and how it's parallel to your life today. So I'm going to be giving you scripture and we're going to go through it together. I'm going to do that on Thursday. Never done it before, but I'm going to do it now. Hey, Linda, how are you, gorgeous? So that's what's going to happen. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. is the Becoming Her series, okay? And I think that's it, y'all. I feel like I ran through that so fast. I know I talk fast. I'm working on it, y'all. Just want to be mindful of your time too. My goal is to make these Becoming Her series live videos like 30 minutes. We're going to see. I can't cut the Holy Ghost off. I can't cut him off. So if he's speaking, he's speaking. So yes, connect with me, bit.deuce Becoming Her. Share this video out if you haven't shared it already. I'm trying to get this out to as many women as possible. For those of you who don't know, I am on a mission for millions. I'm on a mission for millions, waging war against the spirit of fear. Is my screen freezing? Okay, one more time. Thank you, love. I'm on a mission for millions, waging wars against the spirit of fear. So share this out. Share this out. I'll be back next Tuesday, okay? And our interview series is actually going to start. Did I talk about the interview series? So I'm going to be interviewing women, successful women, women of God who have overcome personal life challenges, who have overcome business challenges, family challenges, women who are 6- and 7-figure business owners who to our standards have made it. You know, they're successful. I'm going to be interviewing them starting in October so that they can share their stories with you. They can share their stories of how they've overcome, you know, their stories of tragedy and triumph. We have to understand that these women who we consider to have made it, these women who we consider successful, they've had to sacrifice. And so I'm going to be interviewing several women over the course of the next few months so that you can hear their stories and hear how God has brought them through and what they did to really grow their businesses and grow their ministries and maintain it ever since. So that's going to be a part of this series as well. So Tuesdays, you're going to get me on some weeks. You're going to get the interviews on some weeks. Thursdays is going to be Bible study. Okay? So I think that is it. All right, loves. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to leave comments if you're on the replay. And share this out. Share this out. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. I will see you for Becoming Her, finding the courage to become the woman that God is calling you to be. I'll see you next Tuesday, okay? I love you ladies so, so much. Candace Gray, the Courage Coach, signing off. As soon as I can find this button. Love y'all.